Rambam, Maimonides' teachings, Jewish law, we are starting the 14th and final book. 14 books of Maimonides' teachings. We begin today, the 14th. Begin. It's a book, open my mouth, judge righteously, and render justice for the poor and indigent. From Proverbs, King Solomon. The book of Judges, called Sefer Shoftim, 14th book, contains 5 halachas, and they are the laws of courts and the penalties placed under their jurisdiction, the laws of witnesses, the laws of rebellious ones, the laws of mourning, the laws of kings and their wars, which will include in it the laws of Mashiach, King Mashiach. The laws of courts and penalties placed under jurisdictions. These laws contain 30 mitzvahs, 10 positive, and 20 negative commandments. They are to appoint judges, not to appoint judges who do not know the proper manner of judgment, to follow the majority if there is a difference of opinion among judges, not to issue a death sentence if there is a majority of only one condemning the defendant. Rather, a majority of at least 2 is necessary. For the judge to argue in favor of acquittal in a capital case, not to argue for conviction. To execute the stoning concerning condemned to death. The execution of burning, which doesn't mean burning in fire, means something burning inside. Condemned to death, the execution of decapitation, execution of strangulation, to hang the corpse of certain sinners who were executed, to bury the executed person on the day of his execution, not to allow the corpse to remain unburied overnight, not to allow a sorcerer to live, to punish the sinner with lashes, not to add blows when lashing a sinner, not to punish a person forced to commit a sin, not to kill an innocent person based on an apparent conclusion, not to have mercy on a person who killed or injured a colleague, not to have mercy on a poor person in judgment, not to honor a man of stature in judgment, not to pervert judgment against a sinner even though he is known to be transgressor, not to act deceitfully in judgment, not to pervert the justice to converts or orphans, not to render righteous judgment, to render rather a righteous judgment, for a judge not to fear rendering a just judgment because of a powerful person, not to accept a bribe, not to curse the judges, not to accept false reports, not to curse a Nazi, not to curse any other Jew of moral repute. And the explanation of these mitzvahs is found in the coming chapters. Okay, so it's a positive scriptural commandment to appoint judges and enforcement officers in every city and every region, as the verse says, appoint judges and enforcement officers in all of your gates. The gates means like the gates of the city, right? There are the city gates people would enter. The term judges refers to magistrates who are continually present in court before whom the litigants appear. Enforcement officers refers to those equipped with a billet and a lash who stand before the judges and patrol the marketplaces and the streets to inspect the stores and to regulate the prices and the measures. They inflict corporal punishment on all offenders. Their deeds are controlled entirely by the judges. Right. So the police, in other words, it's a police force that's controlled by the courts. Whenever a person is seen perpetrating injustice, they should be brought to court. They will be judged according to his wickedness. Halacha number 2, we are obligated to appoint courts in every region and in every city, only in Eretz Yisrael. Right? This is in the land of Israel, this is the obligation. In the diaspora, by contrast, we're not obligated to appoint courts in every region. This is derived from the continuation of the verse. It says, appoint in all of the gates which God, your Lord, is giving you for your tribes. So it means for the 12 tribes of Israel, meaning the land of Israel, that is where the obligation is, right? Biblical obligation we're talking about, right? How many courts should be among the Jewish people and how many judges should there be in each court. First is a Supreme Court, Sanhedrin as it's called, based in a Gadol, right? Um, the Supreme Court is established in the temple. This is called the Great Sanhedrin. It's comprised of 71 judges. This is derived from the verse, which states, "Gather for me 70 men from the elders of Israel." Right, Moses did, and Moses presided over them in the verse, and they shall stand there with you. So you have 71. 70 elders plus Moshe is 71. To the one who possesses the most knowledge's place at the head of the court, at their head, he acts as the Rosh Yeshiva, and he is called the Nasi by the sages and all sources. He assumes the position of Moshe, our teacher. The greatest among the remaining 70 is appointed as the assistant to the head. He sits at his right and is called Av Beis Din, head of the court. Yeah. The remaining judges of the 70 sit before them and are seated according to their age and according to their stature. Whoever possesses greater wisdom than his colleague is seated closer than his colleagues to the Nasi on his left. The members of Sanhedrin sit in a semicircle so that the Nasi and the Abbasin can see all of them. In addition, 2 courts of 23 judges, each are appointed. One holds sessions at the entrance of the temple courtyard, and the other at the entrance of Temple Mount, right? Which is further removed, right? In addition, we appoint minor Sanhedrin in every city in Israel, in which there are 120 or more adult males. They hold a court at the entrance of the city, as implied by the verse, and shall establish judgment in your gates. How many judges should there be in that court? 23. The one who possesses the greatest wisdom is the Chief Justice, and the remainder sit in a semicircle so that the Chief Justice can see all of them. Okay. I have to conclude here. Oops. All right, folks. Thank you very much. Have an amazing, great day.